What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about Canadian news. Because as an American, I never get to see Canadian news here in the United States for many of our news. So today, I'd like to take some time to learn about the current news and events happening in Canada right now. Starting with, hackers stole 100,000 of her Aeroplan points? Hackers? What are Aeroplan points? She wants to warn others about how they did it? Yes, please warn us. What are Aeroplan points? I think I actually have to look this up. Here we go. Aeroplan? Air Canada? Is this like Canadian Tire dollars or something? I learned about that recently. Canadian Tire bucks, or this is like Air Canada Aeroplan points. You go flying and you spend points for your tickets, and okay, I think I get that. We got stuff like that, you know. We got stuff. She got 100,000 of her points stolen. Holy! A woman living in Montreal's South Shore lost 100,000 Aeroplan points after being hacked. I don't know how much 100,000 Aeroplan points are worth, or how many extra peanuts you get on the flight, or if you get to go to first class, or what. She wants to warn others about email bombing, the technique that was used to distract her from what was happening. She was emailed so much, she was distracted from getting her Aeroplan bucks stolen. Is that what I'm understanding here? Even if she lost points, not money, she feels violated. Yeah, how did this happen? She knew something was off when hundreds of emails flooded her inbox in hours. Oh, I hope she didn't click them. And I hope she didn't try to accept money from some kind of, like, Persian prince. You know, that old scam. He never did send me the money. He swore that I was inheriting his fortune, but I never got it. Even after downloading all 7 of the files he told me. Anyway, after an online search, the woman who lives in Montreal's South Shore realized she'd been the victim of email bombing. It's a technique used by hackers to overwhelm your inbox with useless emails. Oh, I think I'm email bombed on the regular. This doesn't have to do anything with hacking. Getting a bunch of useless emails. It's probably my own fault, clicking things. To take their focus from the message they should be paying attention to. But what did she do exactly? I understand she was distracted by the emails. But what did she do to actually get hacked and her points stolen? Buried in that pile of emails was a warning from Air Canada, alerting her changes had been made to her account. And when she checked, 100,000 Aeroplan points disappeared. Someone had already booked a flight from Malaysia to Abu Dhabi. She had only 12,000 points left. What the? Someone had just hacked her account, like, regularly, and then distracted her with emails. What the heck? You know, it's good to be aware of this stuff, I guess, but man, is nothing sacred anymore. All right, let's keep going. Not the kind of stuff, again, when I check out this news, it's kind of eye-opening to me, because as Americans, we just kind of think like everything is great in Canada, nothing bad ever happens, and no, people getting their Aero bucks stolen. 100,000 of them. What else do we have here? Scan your receipt to exit. Loblaw is facing backlash as it tests receipt scanners at self-checkout. Backlash. Receipt scanners at self-checkout. Like when you leave? Please scan your barcode. Like right after you buy it? I thought they were saying like at the exit at the door. You scan your receipt, and it's like, okay, that's a little overkill. Do we really live in a day and age where we have to scan our receipts after just buying it? Can't you just wave your receipt around and be like, oh yeah, I just bought it? But no, this is right by the cash register? Grocery giant says organized crime is driving retail theft. There's quite a few American cities having trouble with this as well. They've resorted to, like, putting everything. I've seen pictures of like CVS's and corner stores and stuff and pharmacy stores where everything is behind glass. Like everything. Even if you want a box of cereal, like it's behind glass and you got someone get someone to open it. It's kind of sad that that's where we're at, huh? Although it's also, I guess, kind of sad that there's people that exist that are in a position in life where they feel like they need to do that to survive or whatever. That's sad on another level. Failures all around, basically. Unfortunately, I don't know where society is going. But we're not here for me to talk about society. We're here to learn about Canadian news. And Loblaws is testing receipt scanners at 4 of its locations. Customers who go through self-checkout must use the device to scan their receipt's barcode, claiming they paid for something, which opens a metal gate, letting them leave. There's literally a metal gate blocking you from leaving if you don't scan your barcode. I don't know. I mean, if there is a lot of theft going on, I understand from the business point of view. If they make the scanner really easy, and you can just very quickly scan it, and it's like beep, and opens, then there's like minimal friction there, I guess, to putting this in, but it's more just a sad thing about society, and I didn't know this was something Canadians were struggling with as well. It's very sad. Modular cabins for unhoused people in Ontario, worth every dollar. This is for like people who are living on the street, don't have anywhere to live. Peterborough mayor says plan is drawing interest from the rest of the country. Look at this! These little tiny houses. I would have loved this, like, during college or whatever, like, and when a lot of us are struggling financially after just leaving, like, your parents' house and trying to make it out in the world, I'd live in a tiny little mini house, too. But, you know, this is, on a serious note, this is to help homelessness crisis, so this is a serious matter. But, those are kind of cool, actually. That is quite a step up from being homeless, living on the street, getting like your own little tiny house to live in. A private cabin framed in steel has provided a measure of stability for one resident of a new community of unhoused people in Peterborough, Ontario. Wow, this is making a big difference then. I love it. It's great. It's got lots of security. Yeah, it's like, it looks like it's made out of literal metal. You know, people that care, said the resident. I don't want to use her name. The workers are great here. If you need anything, they're right here. Wow. I never knew about this, or that this was an option. This is pretty cool, actually. And if I assume this is like a government-sponsored program or something, trying to give little tiny houses to people who are in financial need, I like that. That's pretty cool, actually. I don't know if that would work here in the United States. Because I don't know if people would be as civil about it. Like, these tiny houses might end up being used for bad purposes or vandalized or people trying to break in. Or it's unfortunate because that really seems like a really wholesome, nice solution for people who are really struggling. So I do like that. Seems to be working in that town in Canada, at least. Woman gives birth mid-flight on Toronto-bound plane. Diverted to Bermuda, Air Canada says. So if you don't have all your Air Canada bucks points stolen, you might end up on a plane ride where you give birth. This is like a movie or something. Woman delivered baby with help of 2 doctors who happened to be on board. No way. That's awesome. I hope everything turned out okay. Is it okay to fly in airplanes when you're very pregnant? And if it is, maybe you shouldn't fly on the airplane, like, during your literal due date area? That seems a bit risky. I think everything turned out okay, though. Air Canada says a mother and her newborn child are in good health after the woman went into premature labor. Premature. Okay, she didn't anticipate giving birth mid-flight, but that's how it goes sometimes. Wow. Before the plane could land, the airline says the woman delivered her baby with the help of two doctors who volunteered their help. That is awesome. Oh my, you don't hear that too often. It's great that everything turned out okay. What an amazing story to tell the baby when they're like grown up. It's like, wait, where were they technically born? Hold up. This is very cool if you're like born on an airplane. It's a great story, an icebreaker. But it's like, logistically, where do you put on paperwork? Like, where were you born? You were like flying in the air hundreds of miles per hour. While you were born? That's insane. That's pretty cool. Okay. And if they crossed, God forbid, if they crossed a time zone during that, it's like, when were you born? I was born, then I went back in time an hour. Okay, let's keep going. What we can learn about Canada's record wildfire season as a new one approaches. Yeah. I have read about this in the past. I'm aware of this. Canada had a terrible wildfire season. Americans were even getting, like, aware, because Americans were mad, because it was, like, putting smoke on New York, and we Americans were getting mad instead of, like, being empathetic, like, oh my god. Instead, they're like, I can't see. Those dang Canadians. With their wildfires that they can't control. It's like, no. Canadians don't want it either. Yeah, that was crazy. What to expect in years ahead. And they examined the 2023 fires. Oh my god, this is like a gas station burned down. Fire crews across much of Canada are already on high alert for the coming wildfire season. God, there's another wildfire season coming already? This is just very sad. Terrible to hear about, but I guess Canada is, like, getting prepared, which is good, acknowledging there is a big problem coming. It's going to get dry very quickly. It's going to become very easy to start a fire. We have an early spring coming, mild end of the winter, snow that's disappearing faster than usual. Alberta declared last month that its wildfire season started 10 days early. It's just like the climate is, like, in such a way in Canada that's really facilitating quicker and more wildfires. More than 100 fires are still burning in British Columbia and Alberta. Still! Man, this is real terrible. Is there anything you can really do about this? Federal government has set aside $285 million over 5 years to help handle wildfires and trying to get 1,000 more firefighters. Yeah, I guess that is what you do. They're doing research on this unprecedented year. Oh my god, 15 million hectares burned. I don't know what a hectare is. That sounds bad. 200 communities evacuated. That's really the thing where, like, you hear about this on the news, but until you're literally the person who your home is burning down, you need to leave your home because of wildfires, that's when it's like, it really hits in a visceral, real way for those people. That's really sad. And I think the sad thing is there's not much you can do about this other than try to be prepared, get firefighters, put out a budget for this. Oh man. What else do we have here? Any other interesting articles for Canada today? Deep sea eruption off British Columbia coast? What else do we have here? Let's scroll down a bit. Woman survives being buried by an avalanche for 20 minutes. Woman buried by an avalanche for 20 minutes, but she's okay? What is going on in Canada? Canadians are tough. Flying, giving birth while flying, and being buried alive for 20 minutes and being okay? What? We cannot state strongly enough how lucky they were, says rescuers. Oh my god, what happened? Rescuers say a woman is lucky to be alive after she was caught in an avalanche in the North Shore Mountains near Vancouver and buried upside down. Buried upside down for 20 minutes? But she could breathe somehow, I guess? The woman was snowshoeing. The most Canadian thing ever. The woman was snowshoeing with a companion in the back country. An avalanche struck and buried them both. That is terrifying. The couple, who are in their 30s, were able to get up the trail, but ran into trouble. The man was able to dig himself out and call 911 before locating his companion's snowshoe poking out of the avalanche. Oh my God, imagine. Were they a couple? Imagine like you're snowshoeing, which I can't. You're Canadians and you're snowshoeing in the snow, of course, doing what you do. And an avalanche buries you and you see like your wife or husband upside down, buried in an avalanche with their shoe poking out. Is terrifying. Did they try to unbury them? He was able to uncover the woman, who was responsive, but hypothermic and discolored from lack of oxygen. She was really dying. Like, rescue field teams provided emergency care. The man hiked himself down. The woman had minor injuries and required support to get down. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's amazing. Fantastic news that they're okay. Again, what a icebreaker. Be like, hey, I was buried in an avalanche once for 20 minutes. I turned purple. And people are like, ma'am, this is a Wendy's. Like, can you just put your order in? Okay. And let's see if there's anything else here we have real quickly. Losing at gambling didn't deter me, because I held on to hope I would strike the jackpot one day. Sounds like something Americans would do. Losing at gambling doesn't deter me. I know I'll win the jackpot. Hey, maybe, probably not, I think, statistically speaking. Anything else here real quick before we wrap this up? Teacher shortage has staff across Canada working in survival mode. A teacher shortage. Is Canada dealing with a teacher shortage? Schools are relying on non-teaching staff, non-certified teachers. God, that's when you're very desperate. Like, kudos to those stepping in and actually like becoming teachers, even though you're not. But it's also sad, like, for your children. Like, you want certified teachers teaching, like people who have gone to school and put in a lot of effort to teach your children and give a high quality education. So it's sad both ways. To describe the teacher shortage plaguing Canadian schools, it's chaotic and stressful. How bad is this teacher shortage in Canada? We're always short teachers. We have a hard time filling positions. Wow. So this is just a problem, and they're not really talking about it getting better. 52% of students who graduate with a Bachelor of Education in New Brunswick don't teach in the province. And in Nunavut, there's a 9 to 10% vacancy rate for teachers. Wow. Increase in non-certified teachers. What is a non-certified teacher? Someone who has to come in and kind of pick up the slack, who didn't go to school for it, I imagine. Ray doesn't fault schools for coming up with these measures. She's concerned that she will stop what she called an interim stopgap solution might become permanent, because teaching has evolved a lot in the past few decades. So they're trying to find new solutions, and it might be like making it easier to be a teacher. Teachers aren't babysitters. Is that why teachers are upset? I know teachers are upset a lot because of the pay. Here in America, it's all about the pay. If they were able to increase teachers' pay, teachers' salary, that would organically fix the problem, right? People would literally become teachers if they could make a good living. It's like supply and demand, like, you know, they could fix it that way. Pay teachers more, but it's like, where's the budget for that, I guess? And anyway, that's Tyler for Prime Minister. I'll solve all Canadian problems in 2 minutes. No, I don't know anything. This is just some fun I'm having. I do enjoy looking at the Canadian news just to keep up to date. Sadly, it feels like keeping up to date with a lot of Canada's problems, which you don't hear about here. There were a couple good stories, actually, today. A couple positive stories. Giving birth on an airplane, getting buried alive and almost dying, but being okay. That's sort of positive? Anyway, I did enjoy learning about the news today. This was quite interesting. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on these news articles today. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.